Well, there's a guy in Connecticut who's an independent who caucuses with the Democrats. And I remember people claiming, hey, don't worry, he might not be with us on foreign policy, but boy, is he with us on domestic policy. And that we should reelect Senator Joe Lieberman because he knows the Senate and he knows the ropes, and he's always been with the Democrats on the domestic side. Now, he came in and immediately said that he would not investigate anything the Bush administration did in regards to Hurricane Katrina as soon as he was reelected, thereby, not being with the Democrats on domestic policy, because forget blaming George Bush. We'd like to know what went wrong so we can fix it. He's like, nope, no interest in fixing it. Hurricane Katrina can suck it. That's what, and the people of New Orleans, much more importantly, in Louisiana, Mississippi, etc., can suck it, according to Joe Lieberman, because he didn't want to know what went wrong. Why? Because he wanted to protect his butt buddy, George Bush, no matter what. Oh, that was a big surprise. Now it turns out he's not in favor of any health care reform, not even the Baucus version. Is anyone still surprised by this? And I tell you what, man, you people that voted for Lieberman that are Democrats in Connecticut, I demand apologies. I want you to write in here and say, Cenk, I am so sorry. You were 100% right, and I was 100% wrong. All right, here you go. If you don't believe me, listen to your own ears. Lieberman on the Don Imus program, clip number 4.
So we're going to vote on health care today?
There'll be a vote in the Senate Finance Committee.
And what aspects of it, if any or all, do you support?
Well, I've been saying for a couple of months now that I'm concerned that there's a danger that we're trying to do too much here. And the president's trying to do two good things, but doing them at once in the middle of a recession may be really hard to pull off. And the two good things are to bend the cost of health care down by changing a lot of the ways health care is delivered. The second thing is to cover some of the people, millions of people who are not covered with insurance. So this puts us in the position where you say, on the one hand, what we're about to do in adopting health care reform will reduce the cost of health insurance from what it would otherwise be. And on the other hand, you say, oh, incidentally, we're going to raise your taxes or cut your Medicare to the tune of $900 billion or $1 trillion, and the people are beginning to think that maybe they do better holding on to what they have now. So if you ask me, I'd say we should really focus on what's being called healthcare delivery reforms. How do you change the way the system is delivered to ensure high-quality care?
So get a load of this. He does the worst of the Republican fear-mongering. Oh, well, if we do this, we're going to have to raise your taxes nearly $1 trillion. Congressional Budget Office said that the Baucus bill saves the deficit $81 billion. They're nonpartisan. The Republicans love it when they come out with numbers that don't help the Democrats. They said, no, this does deficit reduction of $81 billion. And you heard Lieberman, I don't know, this, we're going to have to raise taxes to the tune of $900 billion or $1 trillion, and then we're going to have to cut your Medicare. I don't know, probably best to do nothing at all. Yeah. All of you people who said, oh, no, let's stick with the establishment. Let's stick with the people who have, been there before and are veterans of Washington like Joe Lieberman. Way to go. If that wasn't clear enough, Imus is going to ask him about the Baucus bill. Now, in our opinion, this Baucus bill is way watered down, has no public option, totally weak. We would like it to be much, much stronger. Far too strong for Joe Lieberman. Let's listen.
And do you support the Baucus bill?
No. I mean, I not the way it is now.
Okay.
And
what about it don't you like?
Well, here's my concern as I watch the way it took shape, and it goes back to these two things we're trying to do at once.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that in the end, the Baucus bill is actually going to raise the price of insurance for most of the people in the country, because most of the people in our country have health insurance, either private or Medicare or Medicaid or veterans benefits. And it's going to do that for a worthy reason, which is to cover people who are uncovered by insurance now. But I just don't think this is the time to be. First of all, I think if I'm right about the effect of all these taxes that people puts on the insurance companies, and listen, they're going to just pass it along to us. Then,
Well, he essentially said that yesterday, didn't he?
who's that?
The insurance industry.
They did. They did. And whether you buy their exact numbers or not, it's just you don't have to be an economist to figure out that if you raise people's taxes and the company's taxes by say $300 or $400 billion, they're not going to eat it themselves.
Well, there you go. Joe Lieberman parroting exactly what the insurance industry said yesterday. Oh, well, they're going to have to raise your prices. No. This Democratic bill is terrible. No. And if it passes, well, then they're going to have to pass that cost on to you. So we originally said we're going to have to raise your taxes, we're going to have to cut Medicare, and now your insurance premiums are supposed to be go up. Hey, Joe, you know one thing that would keep our insurance premiums down? The public option. Are you on board for that? You bitch. You corporate dog. Okay? I can't believe anybody voted for that guy. You know why I'm so upset? He's the 60th vote. You think look, the other guys, they're going to have the Baucuses and the Conrads and the Nelsons. Once they got cover from snow, they're going to have a hell of a time, joining a Republican filibuster. Because in the end, it's going to come down to that, okay? They're going to need the 60 votes to break a Republican filibuster. The one guy who is by far the most likely to join the Republican filibuster is Joe frickin' Lieberman. He'll do it in a heartbeat. You think he gives a damn? And then he'll come out and the press will aid and abet him. They'll say, look at this bipartisan, nonpartisan, independent demigod Joe Lieberman. You see how he screwed the Democrats in the ass? Well, see what a great guy he is. What a moderate he is. What a centrist he is. That's what they'll say. And that's what he's banking on. When in fact, he's not a moderate centrist. He's certainly not a liberal, but I don't even think he's a conservative. In this case, all he is a corporate whore. That's what Joe Lieberman is. So he's going to take all that insurance money and then pretend to be a centrist, and the press, since they're a bunch of morons, 8 out of 10 times, will go along. Why do I say that? Today, in the story about the vote coming out of the Senate Finance Committee, Associated Press wrote on 3 different instances in 2 paragraphs, they said the centrists in the Finance Committee are the moderates that are more like the moderates and the centrists in the Senate overall. Oh, what a wonderful bunch of centrists and moderates. And then at the end of the article, they say, but the public option is favored by some, I should get the exact quote for you. They didn't say extremist liberals, but they came damn close. Okay? They said by some, by insistent, by these liberals in the Senate. But, it's not like the centrists and the moderates are going to go along. If you're a corporate whore, the press will love you and call you a centrist and a moderate. So that's what's going to happen with Lieberman. And when he screws us on this, on the most important thing in Obama's agenda, what are you all going to say? See, the problem isn't Lieberman now. Okay, people are on to Lieberman, right? So he's an enormous problem right now, but for the next election, they're going to come to get him, right? And he'll likely lose. It's in Connecticut, for Christ's sake. Why are you electing one of the most hard right-wingers, corporate whores in America in Connecticut, which is a solidly blue state? It makes no sense. He'll lose next time. But that's not the issue. The issue is the next time we have an election with a corporate whore Democrat and a real progressive, the same exact people will come out and say, no. You have to support the corporate whore. He's a moderate. He's a centrist. He's a guy that's voted with us in 80% of the cases or 90% of the cases. And he'll vote with us when it matters. No, he won't. Lieberman won't, and the next guy won't. They'll take every opportunity to screw you. You can see I'm a little pissed off about it. All right. God, if he screws us, how right were we? But too little, too late.